Okay, so obviously everyone's kind of been trying to figure out why there's been a delay with this major Integra build of yours. So if you want to just give people some of your thoughts on what this whole process has been like for you.
So the car was at ASC for a while, getting some fabrication, and you know, in that time away, it really gave me a lot of time to think about the car and kind of really figure out where I wanted to go with it. I decided on a lot of, you know, kind of changes from where I originally was, like roads that I was going down. Some of the main things that I kind of decided on were the transmission, the oiling system, and some of the exterior modifications. So it just kind of gave me time to think and also learn about different systems and kind of more of what I wanted to do with the car. So it worked out kind of in my favor. I would have hated to have had the car done like 2 years ago or a year ago, and then, you know, we'd be on build 2, you know, revision 2, more changes, maybe like more time and money wasted. So I think it's actually kind of for the better. So the car was, you know, it was at ASC for a while, and now it's back at my shop.
Yeah, a lot has changed technology-wise too, you know. So
yeah, I've been through 3 different dash digital displays. I started off with a nice Motec dash, went with their new color dash, and then now I'm on their larger new color dash. So I mean, that right there kind of goes to show, like, you know, technology has grown a lot over the last couple of years, and I'm really glad now that I'm making the decisions that I've made. So.
What about exterior changes to the car?
Okay, exterior changes to the car. I had John Sabal do a rendering of how I ultimately want the car to look now. You know, now that it's been 2 years since, you know, having the car back, you know, before that. And what I pretty much decided on was a little bit different fender work than before. Probably a different front bumper. I had a Japanese body kit. Do you remember what the body kit I had was?
Airwalker?
No. Ryan, do you remember?
Backyard Special.
Backyard Special. I have a Backyard Special bumper. It's nice, but I kind of don't really want to go down that path. I think I'm going to stick with a factory. I'm going to start with a factory bumper and then kind of create something. So front fenders, front bumper, hood, and some rear under kind of garnish stuff I want to do. When before it was extremely basic. It was an extremely basic kind of exterior, and now I think it's getting a little bit more like track inspired. I want to do a nice splitter on it in the front and maybe something in the back. So that would be the exterior stuff that I want to do. So some of the new things that we've added on the engine are the Golden Eagle intake manifold was modified slightly at ASC to do 8 fuel injectors side by side. They also helped me get the electronic throttle drive-by-wire throttle body mounted and good to go there. K-Tune sent me a plate so I can use my electronic water pump. Mm-hmm. And I purchased a damper pulley. Also got the Skunk 2 2-piece timing cover and the Honda HPD valve cover. I had Willie at Willie Works paint it for me. We shaved it down a little bit too because our casting's a little off. And then what is it? The competition clutch, multi-disc clutch. I just put that on today, and I'm just barely now starting to get some wires on the car. So back here you can see I just started potting some of my sensors. What I'm going to do is basically have every sensor is going to be ran to a Autosport connector, and then they're going to terminate into small junction boxes. So there's going to be like 3 or 4 junction boxes placed around the engine where each sensor is going to basically be wired in and terminated with an Autosport connector, depending on what area on the engine the sensors are located. So main changes that have changed since it went down to San Diego. Let's see. Engine stuff has changed. I'm still using a K24. It's still the same engine. I had a dry sump system that was made by Blueprint. I had an external 3-stage pump, and that's nice and all. I liked it. I hear that there's some like clearance issues possibly. I was going to have my own clearance issues with charge pipes, water lines. It was going to be a lot of plumbing. It was kind of a big endeavor. So what I decided to do was contact Honda HPD. They have an internal 3-stage dry sump. Instead of having like 5 or 6 hoses running every which way, maybe more than that, their system only uses 2. It goes one to the tank and the other one back from the tank to the engine. So it works really well. All the Midget series cars and the Formula Atlantic series cars all use those dry sumps. So I'm going to use that dry sump system. I went ahead and got their valve cover to match it, because there's no oil fill. You fill from at the tank instead of at the valve cover. So I went with their valve cover. I also decided on a quick sequential transmission. That was like kind of a big decision that I made. I really needed some kind of a solution, and I decided that the best solution that I could have was a dog engagement system. The sequential transmission was a little bit more money, but after everything was all said and done, it wasn't that much different. So I ended up with a sequential dog engagement, and that's the Quaife unit that I have now. I got their diff to match, and I went with the billet bell housings transmission case. So the transmission right now is kind of bulletproof and pretty awesome setup. So that whole thing was a question mark a couple years ago. Didn't know what direction I was going to go with it, and I finally think I made a really good decision. Another big thing that changed was that I'm going to do paddle shift on top of the sequential transmission. So with a sequential gearbox, you're actually able to, with solenoids and actuators, simulate your forward and your backward shifting through the ECU control. So what I did was I contacted a company in England that makes IndyCar paddle shift systems, and I bought paddle clickers, a dual solenoid system, and an actuator. So that system is going to allow me to basically have full paddle shift control. What's missing from that is the management. So another thing that just came within the next 2 years, it's a very recent technology, is the Motec M1 ECU with the GPRP package, which is basically a full paddle shift control engine management that controls not just my engine and all my electronics, but also the paddle system. So it's pretty wild technology, and I mean mostly you see this kind of stuff in like Indy cars. But yeah, I'm going to be using the Motec M1 ECU with a PDM, which I always was planning on using, with the Motec Digital Dash, and a few other like small Motec pieces that are kind of needed to make the whole system work properly. So those were the main changes in the system. I think it's going to make for a lot better car.
Cool.
So this is the gearbox that we're using. Quaife sequential transmission with the billet bell housings, CNC bell housing, and then inside here we have a tilt and throw out bearing, and I just plumbed these the other day. Basically got a plate to bulkhead through that, and we'll just have the clutch lines are going to be right here, just bulkheaded through. I need to shortly figure out mounting on this ShiftTech actuator. It's going to be around this area. I'm not really sure exactly how I'm going to mount it yet, but it shouldn't be too terribly hard. There's an up and a down input basically here for the AN lines, and then those are going to get plumbed to this dual solenoid that'll probably be mounted on my frame rail. So these two lines go to these two lines, and then my air source is here.
So I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to use for air source yet. More than likely it's just going to be like maybe like a CO2 kind of cartridge where I'd be replacing it maybe every like 400 or 500 shifts.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So back here we have the Nuke Performance fuel system using dual Bosch 044s and XRP HydroFlow fitting system, which is basically all Wiggins style clamshell couplers. Everything's quick release, and yeah, this fuel system is basically something that I've always wanted to do ever since I saw it at XRP's booth, SEMA, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. And this is just like kind of a dream of mine to have a fuel system with all these little clamshells on it. So finally I get to design it, and it looks really good with the Nuke and the Bosch stuff. Like, they're basically weld-on bungs that are the same as this, so there'll be more little clamshells on that side and the back side under the car. So there's going to be a little bulkhead section there, and the plumbing's just going to run up to here, and then these 3 lines are gonna get plumbed right about there. So I'm going to basically cut out a big hole behind it in the chassis, and then it'll just be all bulkheaded, basically welded on both sides of it, and then there'll be clamshells on both sides. And then as far as the wiring goes, I'm probably gonna wire these, just run the wiring over into an auto sport connector, like right in the side.
Nice.
Okay, since the last time we updated, there's been quite a few changes. I actually took the car back to the paint shop to Willie Works and had the interior completely resprayed. He got it done for me really quick, about 2 weeks, like kind of record time. Everything turned out really good. All the stuff that was knocked down from the fabrication shop is now resprayed and all glossy, so I'm really happy with it. In that time frame, the 2 weeks, I took the interior panels to JP at DPK Powder Coat, and he was actually able to knock it all out for me in about the same amount of time, and I got all those pieces back, and I got those on the car. Those are looking really, really good. I'm happy with how everything turned out. It really like makes my interior complete. It's kind of crazy to see it go from sheet metal to black. It actually looks like kind of like back to a street car now instead of like a trophy truck. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. I actually had the engine in for mock-up between the last update. Had to do a lot of like fuel line plumbing, boost plumbing, pressure sensors and stuff like that were all plumbed. So all those measurements were taken, and that turned out pretty good. I haven't crimped the lines yet, so they're not on the car yet, but I kind of just got the car back and just slammed everything together as fast as I could this week. I also sent the turbo pipes off for coating. So those went to Texas, came back, and are the kind of goldy ceramic colored. I'm really happy with the way those turned out. And now I guess just kind of got to plumb a few more things, have some stuff finalized, and make some more brackets and stuff like that. And the car's coming together really, really well. While the car was at Willie Works, he went and cut and buffed the whole thing for me. So it's glossy and looking really good. He also custom made another front bumper for me. I had the backyard special bumper, and that was cool, but I kind of wanted like a change. So because my fenders were widened, he did a lot of retrofitting and custom creating on the front bumper. He tweaked it for me in a couple little areas that I wanted it changed. Let's see, he fit my front splitter and did a bunch of like side skirt work and stuff like that for me. And Mackin supplied me with some wheels. We're going to do ZE40s, 17-inch. They're going to be a custom size, and it's going to be they kind of wanted to release the new wheel at SEMA. So 17-inch application, I guess my car was perfect. So they contacted me, and we were a perfect candidate for Mackin's new wheel. So for SEMA, we are going to be we're going to be in the CSF radiator booth. CSF's on board. They're going to give us some radiator and cooling parts for the car. We're going to actually be having the Integra along with my Porsche, and they're going to be side by side, and it's going to be kind of a, we're going to try to make it kind of a big deal, and it's going to be cool to see like kind of where I got a lot of the ideas for the Integra from based off of the Porsche. We're also going to be doing a video. The video is going to cover kind of a little bit about myself, a little bit about the way that I feel and experiences driving the Porsche, and the ways that I can kind of take that supercar aspect and bring it into the import, the Integra. So there's going to be a lot, I'm working on the video for that. There's going to be a lot of kind of carryover between the two cars. So I think having both cars at SEMA is going to be really special. It was kind of my like ideal goal and plan, and to see that kind of take shape is pretty awesome. So with the video and SEMA's unveiling, we're going to have like, hopefully we're going to cover the cars and not let you see them, and then we're going to unveil, and hopefully I'll be able to talk to a crowd of people and have people ask me questions and stuff like that. So SEMA should be really good. But if you are so inclined to see the car a little early, it's going to be at Joey's meet a couple days before. So yeah, if you guys can't come to SEMA or you don't have passes for SEMA, definitely go to Joey's meet. I'll have the car there, hopefully, crossing my fingers that it's going to be 100% done and running. I know that the car is going to take a lot of calibration and setup to get actually started. The PDM system, the digital dash, and I mean the ECU is M1 based, and it's going to be very kind of difficult for full setup and getting the paddle shift to work. And I got a lot of programming on my end, and I'm going to be working with a really good Motec tuner, Nate. He was at Motec for about 10 years, and he's going to help me get the car dialed in and actually started and driving, and hopefully a full tune in it. But I mean, even if it's not fully tuned for SEMA, at least my goal is to be able to drive the car into the show, and that's like big, because it's going to need a lot of track testing, shaking down and stuff to get it actually perfect. So. All right, so in the next couple weeks or so, even the next few days, I'm going to be just kind of working as fast as I can, getting this car, put together, and like kind of try to get it startup ready. I know it's been kind of a long process. It's a lot for me to take into. It's been like a 4-year long build, and like Joey's been cool that he's still willing to cover it and stuff, even though it's been so long. And I know you guys have been just waiting for it, and I get a lot of like Instagrams going like, it's about time and this and that. And it's hard with my busy schedule, it's hard with everybody's schedule. It was at some different shops and whatnot that were, it takes time, everything takes time. So I think that we finally have a grasp on it, and we're getting it put together as fast as we can, and efficiently and as proper as we can, because I'm not gonna let anything slide on it. I'm gonna make sure everything is built properly. So yeah, just follow us, and in the next 2 months or so, leading up to SEMA, hopefully we get several more updates, and you guys can really see the car come together in detail. So thank you, and appreciate everything.